Good morning, everyone. It is Tim Gayesh, and today I'm going to talk about your thyroid. I'm going to explain to you how the hormones in the endocrine system work as related to the thyroid, and I'm also going to include an explanation of why my new thyroid hybrid formula includes glandulars or organotherapies that include glandulars extracts of endocrine glands outside of what you're seeing here in this picture. Um, so I'm gonna jump right into it here, and you're gonna find that I'm gonna do more and more of these videos as time goes on. It's easier to speak than it is to actually write. I might get choppy and get a little off at times, but in the end, you'll always understand what I'm saying. Um, with your thyroid, it all starts at the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is an endocrine gland in the interior of the brain. Its main purpose is the production of thyrotropin, which is as you see, is listed here, the thyrotropin releasing hormone. What that means is that it produces a hormone which is sent to the pituitary gland. This hormone then provokes the production of your TSH, or thyroid stimulating hormone, which is then sent to your thyroid to produce T3 and T4. In this image, which is correct in its purpose but incomplete, T3 and T4 are then sent back to both the pituitary and the hypothalamus in order to provoke them to continue the production and the circle of hormone release. So the T3 and T4 will actually provoke these two endocrine glands into producing the necessary hormones to keep the circle of thyroid alive and going. Excuse me. But what's not included here, and I'll talk about this now, and the reason why I include the adrenal cortex glandular, is that the pituitary also produces 8 more, I believe it's eight more hormones that are essential to human health. The human growth hormone, which is an anabolic hormone which targets your bones, muscles, livers, and other tissues. Prolactin, which helps initiate the secretion of milk for women. Of course, your thyroid stimulating hormone. The follicle stimulating hormone, which is very important to women for hormonal balance, because this stimulates the ovarian follicle and the production of estrogen and progesterone, as well as testosterone in men. It is said, and depending on what publication or clinical study that you choose to believe, between 70% and 80% of women in North America suffer from thyroid insufficiency. This isn't just limited to women, in my personal opinion, because I'm seeing it more and more in men as well. The follicle stimulating hormone also is responsible for the production of sperm and testosterone in men. So let's not leave men out of this. We have our luteinizing hormone, which triggers ovulation and testosterone as well. On the male side of that, you get your oxytocin, which people who are on my personal Facebook page will see the joke about that, about my wanting to overdose on it. That is your love hormone, your huggy-feely hormone, but it's also responsible for contraction of the uterine and milk ejection in females. We have an antidiuretic hormone that's also produced by the pituitary. This conserves water and concentrates the urine. And that's it for the hormones which are produced by the pituitary. But let's get back here for one moment to the T3 and the T4. In this photo, it's actually showing them just coming back, the only responsibility being back to the pituitary and the hypothalamus in order to provoke the production of the hormones to keep this all on track, the thyroid on track. But one of the more important things, sorry, I shouldn't say more important, that's unfair. Another very important thing that T3 and T4 are responsible for is your basal metabolic rate, which is your base metabolic rate in which you burn calories while at rest. This is why you see when there's an issue of reduction in T3 and T4 production, which is what is known as hypothyroidism, that the person will gain weight. Well, the reason that they're gaining weight is this T3 and T4, which is not being produced or not being produced in sufficient amount, is no longer regulating or optimizing the caloric burn in the body. So you're not burning enough calories at rest. You're gaining, so that would cause the weight gain. Now, I believe I've already spoke about it. So in my new thyroid formula, you'll see that I cover it with both potassium bromide, and some people are going to have a fit who don't understand biochemics, but potassium bromide is the natural form of bromide which is required by the thyroid, as is potassium iodide or potassium iodine. So along with them, the new thyroid formula containing these two trace elements, they also include the glandulars of hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, and adrenal cortex. Just to assure that, because we know that if your pituitary gland, I'm sorry, I'm pointing at the screen instead of using my mouse, and I'm kind of laughing at myself here. We know that if your pituitary is not producing enough TSH, which is the general and most commonly used blood lab test to test for your TSH instead of a full panel to test for your T3, T4. When they test that, they call it an indication of thyroid insufficiency or your thyroid not working correctly. And though they're right, because if your thyroid is not working optimally, if you're not producing enough thyroid stimulating hormone, there's no way that your thyroid is working optimally. But it's actually an indication that your pituitary gland is not working optimally. And the problem that I find with Western medicine is that when the TSH is low, they stop it and they limit it only to the thyroid. But as I just told you, you've got your adrenal hormones, you've got your human growth hormone, you've got prolactin, you've got your follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, oxytocin, and your antidiuretic. What about these? Well, why does Western medicine leave these out? Is it possible that a pituitary that is not working optimally enough to produce enough TSH or overproducing TSH is only faulty in the one hormone? Seriously, I really doubt it. And you should doubt it too, because it's illogical. But they stop there. They stop at the thyroid, and they don't look in. You'll never see them do a full hormone panel. You'll never see them test your water level, see if you're dehydrated or not. They just leave it alone. They just nothing. Okay, your thyroid's not working. Here, have a synthetic man-made version of TSH. I don't know. It really bothers me that they consider a TSH irregularity to be an issue with the thyroid instead of the pituitary when it's actually produced by the pituitary. They leave the pituitary alone. They only treat the thyroid. Excuse me. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent now on what bothers me. There's your little Tim drama for this morning. Anyway, I'll move forward. Now, understanding, once again, I'm just going to go through and quickly paraphrase for people because I tend to get off on little rampages. The hypothalamus is responsible for the production of thyrotropin-releasing hormone. Thyrotropin-releasing hormone is sent to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland then produces, because of the TRH, or the thyrotropin releasing hormone, which provokes your TSH, or thyroid stimulating hormone, which is then sent to the thyroid, and that provokes the production of T3 and T4. T3 and T4, as well as being sent back to both the hypothalamus and the pituitary to provoke them to produce their hormones, is also responsible for your basal metabolic rate, or the amount of calories you burn at rest. In the case of hyperthyroidism, that increases the caloric burn. Hypothyroidism lowers the caloric burn, which you'll see them gain weight. In hyperthyroidism, they'll lose weight. But I've seen it in my experience that really isn't always the case. Sometimes, and I've seen lots of people with hypothyroidism that are very thin people. I've seen people with hyperthyroidism that are overweight people. So this isn't always the case, and there's always exceptions to everything. So when I speak in these videos, I'm speaking of generalities to help people understand, not of every single case. That's impossible. But anyway, this is how your thyroid works. That is why the new thyroid hybrid formula includes those glandulars, and what else it includes in it. There's actually more, like calcium, fluoride. Oh my God, I know the natural medicine world is going crazy. What do you mean thyroid? Folks, the fluoride issue, which is for another video, is not what is being told in the natural medicine circles. Stop taking it away from your kids. It's an issue of what would you call it? An issue of the children getting too much of the wrong fluoride. The fluoride that we're getting is the incorrect type, for starters, because the fluoride that we're using, is man-made, or a byproduct of an chemical, or a industrial manufacturing process. Real, inorganic, natural thyroid, which is a micronutrient from healthy soil, water, and plant-based foods, is essential to human health because it is responsible for the elasticity of our fibrous tissues. If you take away all fluoride, you're going to be a very sick and likely dead person. Don't believe everything you hear, but I'll save that for later. I'm sorry, once again, off on the tangents I was talking about. Anyway, there's your thyroid, folks, and a little information about fluoride for you to relax a bit. I'll produce a video on that. Perhaps I'll even do that next. But thank you for listening. There's your thyroid. There's why the formula includes these glandulars. Understand it. You can correct it. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.